Well, hello and welcome to episode 4 of Loogy. I'm your host Zach here with Jack and Andrew again. The Mets since last episode 3-3. Is this up to date?
Yep.
Wow, 3-3. Was that the same as last week? No, it wasn't. 4.6 runs scored per game, 4.3 runs allowed per game. Standings still first place, 3.5 games ahead of the Phillies. Anybody see anything interesting this week in any of the games?
Yeah, they take too damn long. But that's another.
We're gonna leave that for what's bothering Jack this week.
All right.
Well, I was just curious on Jack on your thoughts on the team now that we're at the halfway mark, how you think they're performing. Obviously, we've had a lot of replacements and not many games with the full team. I was curious your thoughts on the team as a whole.
Well, they've been very fortunate in that when you pick up all the spare parts they picked up, like Villar, Pilar, some of these bullpen guys, these middle reliever type, setup type guys, you really are truly rolling the dice. No GM can say, I knew Jonathan Villar would perform at a reasonable level. I knew Kevin Pilar would perform at a reasonable level if asked to do so. And some of the bullpen, you could say the same thing. Just looking now, guys like Miguel Castro, guys like Sean Reed Foley. We just been really fortunate to have these guys step in and perform at a pretty decent level in the absence of all our injuries. So in that regard, let's just say that it's been very successful season so far regarding the performance of the guys who stepped in, regarding where we are in the standings, regarding with all the injuries that we've had. So there's no doubt that, A+ for the GM in terms of bringing in the right people who've been asked to do things and have performed. Billy McKinney, these types of guys. I mean, come on.
Mhm.
So, but again, there's a ton of luck in there because, middle relievers almost from year to year are like alternate good, bad, good, bad. So I think there's a lot of luck in there. So I think we're very lucky. So as we look ahead, we've also been very fortunate in that the Braves have been just awful compared to what they so we're also fortunate that the Phillies and the Braves and Nats who've got talented teams have been underperforming. So we are definitely in a position where guys like McNeil, Lindor, and Conforto are gonna have to, if they continue to bat at this level, these other guys are not gonna last 162. They're not going to perform the way they've been performing for a full 162 game season. So I think we're still in a very precarious position until we see that those three guys, and then we'll see how JD Davis performs when he come back. Who else is coming back soon? I see the only bat left to come back.
I think so.
Okay. So Davis has got to perform. These other three guys are underperforming, got to perform. And again, Carrasco's supposed to be back soon. That'll be huge because the rotation is also limping along. I mean, Loop had to get a start the other day. So I would say we're well positioned given all that's gone down, but I think it's a precarious position personally.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think we're insanely lucky to be in first place. Again, like I had just said, we haven't had that many games with that full opening day lineup that we expected, but I haven't really been impressed with that lineup. If you look at the names, there really isn't any hole in it. There's no guy that I wouldn't be confident in when he's playing up to his expectation. But right now, really none of them are, other than Nimmo. So hopefully, yeah, they can all bounce back and play to where they are expected to. Because if they do, I don't think there's many teams that can beat the Mets with how good their pitching is. but they just have to hit, and they really haven't been.
Yep. I mean, I think you're right. In the end, it will come down to the pitching. It will come down to the big three continuing to pitch well, and Carrasco or some other fourth guy stepping up and being able to fill that slot. Otherwise, we haven't had a lot of games against the East, it seems. But anyway, we've been lucky.
So the Mets drafted Kumar Rocker, 10th overall. You guys know about him? What do you guys think?
John Rocker's son. I don't know anything about Kumar Rocker.
So Rocker was going into the year, he was expected to be the first overall pick. Last year, he was easily the best pitcher in all of college baseball. And up until this year, Jack Leiter, also with Vanderbilt, kind of passed him, had a better year. But I am very surprised and very excited that we got Rocker at 10. There are reasons he fell, partially because a lot of the teams that we're picking early are small market, low budget teams. They couldn't afford to pay his signing bonus that he was going to ask. And then he also did have a bit of an inconsistent year, like some struggles with some of his command. But he has got to be the highest or one of the highest ceiling players in the draft. If he can develop, if the Mets can work their pitcher magic again, he could be an absolute steal at 10. So I'm extremely excited that we got him. He could make the team in the next 2 years or so. But yeah, I think that was, I mean, everyone's saying it, but it was a great pick. Very surprised that we got him. When I got that notification, I didn't really believe it. But definitely a good one.
Yeah, I was surprised too, just because he's the only college baseball player I know. So I knew he was good, and then the Mets got him, and I was like, oh wow, just what the Mets really needed, another really good pitcher. And he's from Watkinsville, Georgia, which is cool. He's huge. He's 6'5", 245. I'm sure he has a really mean fastball. I have no
Where do you go to
idea.
school?
Vanderbilt, so
Oh, okay.
So one of the best college baseball schools out there, and it'll be really interesting to see how he pans out.
Yeah, so from what I've read on him is his slider is amazing. If he was in the MLB now, he'd probably have a top 5, top 10 slider.
Ooh.
His fastball is good. It's mid 90s. They says velocity was down this year, which is a concern. Also could be him not throwing as hard as he can because he doesn't want to get hurt because he knows he's going to be a top pick. But yeah, I think they're saying his fastball command is a bit iffy. Same with his changeup, I think, but his slider is elite. So again, hopefully they can develop him, and we'll have potentially another ace to add to the rotation.
So notable storylines around the league this week. Home run derby results. Jack, you were once again correct about a prediction. Petey Alonso wins it easily. He made it look easy out there. Did you guys watch?
Yeah. No.
Well, I'll tell you, he was up there bopping around, dancing to his music, and just enjoying it and destroying the ball just much more easily than everyone else, it seemed. It seemed like he really went out there and just decided that the home run derby is going to be mine for the next 3 years. He was absolutely the king of the derby. It was really fun to watch, actually.
Well, good. I'm glad. I mean, I'm good for him. And the only thing that concerned me when he said, "I feel like I am the elite power hitter." What did he say? He said,
Yeah,
I
the
am
elite power hitter in the
guy."
league.
And I'm like, dude, have a little humility. You're really putting pressure on yourself when you start talking like that. But some players thrive on putting pressure on themselves. It actually helps them perform better. So,
Maybe he'll put
but
up
good for him.
32 home runs next half. Who knows?
That would be sweet. I would not be surprised He's got 17 home runs here at the halfway mark, so he's on a path for 35.
Mhm.
So I would not be surprised at some point if he just catches royal fire, because he really hasn't he hasn't gotten into a home run streak.
Mhm.
He's just been plodding along, hitting the home runs here and there, and you look up and wow, he's got 17, and you're thinking, well, he really hasn't gotten hot yet from a power perspective. So we might see a huge burst from this guy at some point. Would not surprise me.
Yeah, if he's looking for a confidence boost, he definitely got it last night.
Yeah, that's for sure. I read a surprising stat yesterday after the Derby that said that he has 15 home runs on the road and only 2 in Citi Field. And I think
Wow.
that 15 is tied for the most in the NL for away home runs. So it is partially just that Citi Field has been a dreadful ballpark for offense. Probably partially because the Mets are struggling, but also it's just not a great hitter's park. So I think he actually has been better than his stats would say.
That could be even more of a sign that he might, come into a 10-game homestand and hit 7 or 8 home runs. To So I would not be surprised, as I say, to see him really catapult here in power numbers soon.
Was City built with the same dimensions as Shea?
No, no, actually, the Wilpons were huge. The father, Fred in particular, huge Brooklyn Dodger fan. So there's a lot of those old cavernous stadiums. It was built much more cavernous. As you know, the fences were moved in, I think, in 2009, because the nobody was hitting home runs
Mm-hmm.
from the point it opened till 2009. So finally, that whole M&M's area, that used to be part of the playing field, because the Wilpons were thinking about how nice it was to see balls in play and guys hitting triples and throwing the ball around, which is fine, except the players hated it.
Yeah,
So they only, I think, just, when did City open? 2004?
I have no clue.
Well, anyway, 5 or 6 years after it opened, they finally caved to the players' demands and brought the fences in particular, left and left center.
Do you think the Mets being a pitching oriented team has anything to do with the way they build their stadium?
I don't know. From what I recall, it's mostly that the
They like
Wilpons just
balls in
like the
play.
idea of a big cavernous balls and play type of
They
stadium.
like playing with balls.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
the
know if the
Polo Grounds were
Wilpons
like
are
470.
I don't know if the Wilpons are smart enough, honestly, to build a stadium around their team. It doesn't sound like something they would do.
Yeah, they do that.
All-Star game today. Anybody gonna watch? Anybody looking out for anything in particular? Mets players, obviously.
So I wanted to talk about the All-Star game a little bit. I was curious, especially to hear your opinion on this, Jack, as someone who watched the All-Star game when it was huge and when it did matter. Because I was reading this article today that was talking about all the players that were opting out of the All-Star game this year. You have
Yeah,
DeGrom for
yeah,
not that he is injured, but that he doesn't want to get injured because he's had all those scares this year. You have
yeah.
all the Astros All-Stars, Altuve, Correa, Brantley, Presley, because they're saying they just want to stay healthy, partially probably because they don't want to get booed.
That's what I was thinking.
And then you got Buster Posey, who's out with injury, Darvish and Woodruff and Gosman. Two of them are just because they're supposed to start after the All-Star game, so they don't want to pitch. And I was reading this article that was basically saying that the players are almost doing a disservice to the fans by not playing, which, I mean, as a Mets fan, I totally support DeGrom not going. I wouldn't want him to go. But at the same time, we are missing out on some really cool matchups that we're just not going to get to see. Like, I do think it would be so cool to see, DeGrom on the mound trying to navigate through Otani and Guerrero and Judge and whoever else at the top of that lineup. And then same thing, Otani on the other side facing the best hitters in the NL. And it is kind of a shame to have this really cool event and then the game's best aren't even at it. And I think it definitely goes back to a few things for me is now that it doesn't have any effect on World Series home field advantage. There's really nothing to play for, especially if you're a big name player. Because I know they do get money, but if you're a big name player, you don't need the money, so they can just not go. And then also, back in the day when there was no interleague play, there really wasn't these huge playoffs. It was just, the World Series was the only time you even faced off against the other league other than the All-Star game. So the All-Star game was, the NL sends their best, the AL sends their best, and they go against each other, and it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to prove.
Yeah, and it's a bigger thing. And now we're kind of going down that route where it's gonna almost become kind of like the Pro Bowl or the NBA All-Star game where no one's really excited to watch it. There really is no reason to watch it. I mean, I don't plan on even watching it because I just don't even think it'll be exciting. So yeah, here's your guys' thoughts on that, and if it's fine, like the All-Star game just doesn't matter, or should it be a bigger thing? I don't know.
Do you want to take this first, Jack, or do you want me to go first?
Well, I think Andrew hit on most of the key points. I started paying attention to the All-Star game in late 60s, but in particular in the early 70s. And all right, first of all, your interleague play completely changes the complexion of the All-Star game because we want to see DeGrom against Altuve. Well, maybe they're going to be an interleague game where the Mets are going to play the Astros. I mean, we have plenty of interleague games now where there is this cross-pollination. So that takes away from the All-Star game. And without interleague play, we used to have long, intense arguments and discussions over many, many beers back in the late 70s, early 80s about which league was better. Nobody ever discusses which league is better anymore because it's all one league now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had this whole argument about which league was better, the All-Star game mattered because this was going to prove on a very small scale which league was better. And then you had bragging rights. Hey, we won the All-Star game. We killed, the National League back in the late 60s, early 70s won like 12 out of 13 All-Star games. And we used to, as Met fans versus Yankee fans, we used to hang our hat on that all the time. So that was a big, big deal. The money has changed. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to get $5,000 or $4,000 or $2,000 back in the day to win the All-Star game and you're only making $50,000, that was a big deal too. And there was a lot of pride about your league. I can remember showing my age here. Al Kaline, the Tigers were playing the Cardinals in the '68 World Series. They were down 3-1. They won Game 5 to go up to cut it to 3-2. Al Kaline was interviewed after the game. He talked about the pride that he had in his league, that he wanted to do it for his league win the World Series. I mean, can you imagine? You would never hear that today. Now, having said all that, the All-Star game is now just a farcical exhibition game the way the Pro Bowl is, the way the NBA is. Because what's more important? Who wants to get hurt making $15, $20 million a year playing the All-Star game when you're in the thick of a pennant race? Nobody. So that's why in the Pro Bowl and in the NBA, and I don't blame the players at all. Who wants to play hard in a game that has merely become just truly, obviously they've always been exhibition games, but they truly mean nothing at this point. Really, it's just a sales pitch for your league in any of the three major sports. It's just a sales pitch. I mean, the Pro Bowl exists because all the big NFL league sponsors can send a bunch of people over and get free tickets to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii and have a vacation. So the NFL goes, well, we have to play this game because we promised all these people a vacation to Hawaii, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the game, if the All-Star game was no longer played, for me personally, I would be perfectly fine. I wouldn't miss it at all. So I don't know about a younger perspective on that, but it's lost all meaning at this point. All the drama and all the fun is, to me, is just been taken out of it.
Yeah. I can't believe you showed your age finally in episode 4. Nobody knew how old you
Nobody knew,
were
huh? Nobody knew.
until you said that, man. You were getting away with it pretty good. Well,
Well,
as a younger person, I can say that All-Star games to me, NBA, NHL, Pro Bowl and football have always been just kind of ridiculous. You know, I didn't really care about watching them. They're kind of they're not the sport that they represent really. And baseball was always the closest to the sport it represented, and it's gonna start getting worse and worse, it seems like. And I guess there's not really a way to fix it. There's not really a way that you can make it better, or like baseball, like a real baseball game that matters. So it'll be interesting. They'll probably modify it even more to make it more entertaining, like they do with the NHL All-Star Game and that kind of stuff. So I think the years of it being actual baseball are gonna be long gone soon.
but of all the reasons given, I think the bottom line is the money is so huge right
Yeah,
now. It really makes no sense for me to go, if I'm DeGrom, I go, oh, let's see if I could strike out 9 batters in a row at the All-Star game. I mean,
yeah,
if you go back to box scores in the All-Star game of the 50s and the 60s, the starters would go 3 innings.
hmm
And the starting 9, I mean, half of those guys would play the whole game because they wanted to win the game. And there's no need to do that anymore. Like I say, I do not blame the players for going there and not caring about winning because it's meaningless at this point. So those are my thoughts on that.
beautiful, very eloquent.
Thank you.
So Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL this week, out for 9 to 10
Oh,
months. That's good for
no
Mets
kidding.
fans. Sad
Yeah,
for
it is.
Ronald Acuna Jr. and also sad for, I think, Andrew. Is he on your team for
Yeah.
steals?
Yeah. Unfortunately,
A replacement this week, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna have to burn it on him.
It's too bad. Too bad for the Braves, but I don't really care about the Braves. I actually hate them. So everybody else agree?
Well, yeah, of course we agree. He's part of this new generation. Have you guys seen the commercial for, I don't know,
MLB the show?
yeah, is that the video game?
Yeah.
Have you seen the commercial?
Where they're like, I don't care if you think this isn't real baseball. This is
Yeah,
how we
Tatis.
play, and it's not going to change
Tatis.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game has changed and tough noogies, and I'm
hmm
like, okay, fine. You're talking to an old man, and I'll be dead soon. So the future of the game regarding the fans is not with people like me. It's with
hmm
people like you guys.
Right.
So, he's not really hurting the game by saying that, because the only people be offended be people like me, and we're already on the way out anyway. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that when he goes, the game has changed and tough noogies, this is the way it's going to be?
Well, I think what he's referring to is like the more
Flamboyant, showboating?
flamboyant, yeah, flamboyant
Yeah,
showboating part,
right. Yeah.
not like the style of play. And I don't really care, especially because I think that people have been showboating for all of time, and it just is seen as different now for some reason. Like when Gibson hit the home run, he ran all the way around the bases, pumping and
Yes.
limping and doing his thing, and that was awesome. Everybody remembers that, how awesome
Yes.
that was. And I know that was a big moment, and now people bat flip for foul balls, but
Mhm.
I'm okay
Um,
with showboating and having a good time as long as you still take the game seriously. I don't know about
Yeah,
Andrew.
and go ahead, yeah, Andrew. What about that?
Yeah, I mean,
The game has changed. Stuffed nuggies.
yeah, I agree with Zach. I feel like it's just they're doing the same thing in a slightly different way. We had that brief period of time where the bat flips were really starting and the pitchers were getting really mad, but now you have these huge pitcher celebrations too. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with any of the celebrations or anything like that, but I also feel like it's pointless to even focus on it. Like it's just another part of the game at this point. It's not going anywhere.
Well, I think, like you guys are saying, if it's going to be an accepted part of the game and the pitchers are okay with it,
Mhm.
and they're not going to drill the guy next time he comes up or drill the next batter, that's what we don't want. So if they're
Right.
okay with it, then okay, let's have it. But Jack, as you also said, so that's good. The other thing is that as long as they continue to play and take the game itself very seriously, then it's okay. I'm okay with it too. I don't necessarily like it, but I get it. And as long as you still play hard, then it's okay. I mean, we all know Manny Machado can flip his bat. That's fine. But when you hit a ground ball to shortstop and you don't run hard, then it's not okay that you're flipping your bat. But if you're still running hard on a ground ball to short, then go ahead and flip your damn bat for all I care. So that's
All
what I'd
right.
say.
Old man's on board. You hear that,
Yeah, it's all right.
Tatis? He doesn't care. He's
All
buying
right.
MLB The Show tonight.
All right.
He
As long as
he
they
doesn't
don't,
have a PS5 or an Xbox, but he's buying it.
as long as there's no bean balls, I'm okay.
All right, today is July 13th, 2021. Andrew, what else happened today in history?
Okay, today in history, I don't even know why I wrote down notes for this one because I have a feeling Jack might be able to tell us the whole story, but
What year was it?
1977.
I guess it was probably an all-star game fact then.
Well, I had read a lot of All-Star Game facts, but this one is the New York City blackout.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell it or you want me to?
You go ahead.
All right. Well, I don't have too much on it, but it was Mets Cubs game. There was right in the middle of the game, power went out across basically the entire city, which outside of the game caused tons of looting and fires and crime, and the city just went insane. But at the game, the batter at the time, which I think is really funny, the lights went out. The ball didn't even get thrown, but he swung his bat anyway. Lenny Randall, he pretended to get a hit and started running for second base. I think they eventually tackled him when he got to second or something like that. And then the players ended up getting in their cars, driving their cars onto the field, and then having a pretend infield practice session, like with no ball or anything, just to entertain the fans and to, I guess, keep them calm or something. I don't know exactly what the point of it, but the Mets players just went out and they were having infield practice with no ball or anything and just like putting on a show for the fans. I listened to a brief radio snippet of it with like Ralph Kiner talking, and it was really cool. But yeah, pretty crazy moment just for the entire city.
Unbelievably, I do not remember that. So I'm going to have to I
Big
just
fan.
I just googled it. So I see there are some videos from that particular moment. So I'm going to have to well, I can't believe I don't remember this because I would have been watching the game more than likely, but I'm going to have to go look at that. That's interesting. Thank you for bringing that to my
It might be
attention. I had
because your
no
TV
idea.
turned off, Dad.
That could be.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, that could be.
Um,
All right.
so they drove their cars onto the field to provide light. Like
Yeah.
so they put their lights onto the field.
It
That's
probably
interesting.
came in through the center field fence. The center field fence at 410 used to open up, and that's where they kept a lot of the like the groundskeeping type equipment. And actually, I think the players may even parked back there. So yeah, they probably came in through the center field fence, and that's hilarious. I had no idea about that.
Also, it's pretty funny they tackled the guy running to second. That's an interesting note. Like, why
Yeah.
Why treat him like a streaker? What's going on there? He's just trying to have a good time. All right, Jack. Anything bothering you specifically this week?
Let me take my notes. Well, okay. All right. There's a few things here. Couple of
Specifically,
things.
specifics.
Okay. Well, specifically, I've seen him do it twice now. I don't know if he's doing it every time.
Hmm.
Pete Alonso doing this windmill when approaching third base after a
Oh
home run.
yeah,
Have you
yeah,
seen
yeah, yeah.
this?
Yep.
How long has he been doing that for?
I only remember noticing it once, and it was
Okay.
the last home run he hit. So I have no
I've
clue.
seen it twice, and it was both times. It was a crucial home run, so it wasn't like it was they were down 7-1 and he hit a home run. It was a big home run, but I don't know if this is going to be like his normal routine after every home run. But I saw that, and that concerns me. I have to keep keep an eye on that for me too.
All right. I'm
And the
gonna
only,
say that I think it's gonna be his thing because Tatis has a thing.
Hmm.
McCutcheon's had a thing when he hits a home run forever. Guys,
What is
guys have things.
what's
What?
McCutcheon's thing?
McCutcheon grabs the top of his helmet and steps on home plate. Like he does like a little shuffle step with his
Okay,
head.
Oh,
well
well,
that's
he actually, no, he has an even crazier thing. As he's rounding third base, plays rock, paper, scissors with the third base coach.
McCutcheon?
mm,
Yep.
Oh, what? How many home runs does he hit that he gets to play rock, paper, scissors all the time with his?
well.
That's weird. I feel like he's not really. Is he still hitting home runs? Like, how recent is this? Is this year?
It's at least this year. I know I've seen on the broadcast they have like a tracker to see who's won more games.
Let me see.
I'm on
That's
it.
interesting. Who's winning?
Andrew
I think the third base
McCutcheon.
coach.
Oh, I'll be damned. Andrew McCutcheon's got 15 home runs this year.
Okay. All
So,
right.
yeah,
Odd number. So somebody's definitely winning in the. I
batting
mean, there
228.
could
But
be ties. So I got another question. Does he stop at third, or
No,
is it as he's
no,
rounding second? Well, what if it's
it's
a tie? Do they just say
no.
tie?
Yeah, I'm
yeah, I
sure.
guess they do. Yeah, he does it like
He
basically
has to
as
break
he's stepping
stride.
on third base.
Okay. As long as he's not breaking stride, then it's semi-appropriate. I don't like it though. I think that's too
Well,
much.
I will say this, at least it's a little more subtle than this whole windmill guitar thing that Pete Townsend thing that Alonso's doing as he's approaching third base. That's like it's not subtle at all. That's Mike. I understand touching your helmet but
You
that's
think rock, paper, scissors is less
yeah, you're
stands out
just going boom,
less?
boom, boom. You're
Wait,
just
wait.
hitting your fist against your hand 3 times and then sticking your hand out as you're running. I mean, that's not a windmill guitar.
I guess so. I only saw he went around twice, and that was all I saw. I just saw
Well, I
one,
saw it
two
too. Like I
around. How
said,
many does he go around when you saw?
I just want to know. I don't want to keep my eye on it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just
I only
asking how
noticed
many
it.
windmills did he do? Like
I only saw
how many
2.
times did he move his arm around in a circle? Is what I'm
Well,
asking.
the camera wasn't on him the whole time.
Okay, so you don't know.
No, I do not know.
Okay, I only saw him do two, and then he high-fived the guy, the third base coach. I didn't think it was very. I did notice it, so I guess it was enough to catch my attention, but I didn't think
Yeah,
it
the
was
McCutcheon thing
too.
is barely noticeable.
Oh, is there a video of it? Let's
Yeah,
see.
Andrew just sent you one. It's barely noticeable.
Let's see it.
He just goes boom, 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 and they're just having fun. That's no big deal.
Oh yeah, that is pretty casual. See,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was assuming he was doing the standard hand underneath.
Jeez Louise. Come on.
I was
Give him
imagining
more credit than that.
I was imagining him doing it in a much nerdier way than that. He
Yeah,
looks
no,
pretty
no.
cool there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, the third base coach got him.
Yeah.
Third base coaches have to be sharp though, so let's see. Is this a yeah, here's the video of Tatis doing his stutter
Mhm.
step
Oh, that's definitely uncalled for.
where he stops and then
That's
stutters around third.
ridiculous. No, that's bad.
That if you had a third base routine after your home run, what would it be?
You know what mine would be? A gentle, manly handshake at the third base coach.
No, you would have the third base coach hand you a beer on the way around, and then you would shotgun it on,
Shotgun at home
Well,
plate.
actually,
on home base.
that used to happen in my old softball league back in the 80s.
Oh,
Sure.
really?
Oh,
Sounds like
yeah.
it probably happens at the Savannah Bananas game. Have you guys seen those?
That could be. That could be.
All right, what's next? Hold on. Cut this part out, Andrew. Here we go. All right, Andrew, what's bothering you this week? We've heard enough from Jack complaining all the time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I have another.
Oh no, I had another one, but I'll save it.
No. Go back to Jack. Start it over.
No. I'm saving it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Jack, what else is bothering you? You old fart. You fart in a can.
Nope.
You fart in a non-recyclable
Andrew.
piece of plastic. What's going on with you?
Andrew, go ahead.
All right, Zach, tee me up again.
All right. Jeez, Dad, way to ruin that. All right. I got to do it again. What did I do last time? I don't even remember. All right, Andrew, what's bothering you this week?
All right, so I have another gripe related to umpiring. All right. Okay, so I'm going to copy this link into the Discord. Just watch. You only got to watch the first 10, 15 seconds. It's Play with Christian Yelich, where he ends up getting ejected from the game. So he hits he bunts it down third base line. Ball gets thrown away. He takes a little stutter step like he's going to go to second base, stops, gets tagged out, and gets called out. Which I think that's the right call. It is I looked up the rule. It is a judgment call. He does kind of make the move towards second base, so I have no problem with the ump calling him out. What I have a problem with is the way the umpire calls him out. He gives this huge out call, immediately gets right in his face, and he's kind of like showing him up, ready for an argument, ready for a fight. And I think it just kind of outlines a problem with umpires in general, where they just are trying to make it all about them and kind of take away from the players. It's kind of the same thing when you have home plate umpire make a really delayed strike three call on like in a crucial spot to kind of play it up, or an umpire ejects a starting pitcher before either team's even getting a warning. And they're acting like the fans are there to see them, which obviously is not the case. Like, they're just there to make the calls, and that's it. And I think there's a few umpires, especially, that just have massive egos and are there to make it all about them. And I just can't stand it.
Yeah, simple fist pump would have done there, I feel like. Just a little,
Although it was a good call.
Yeah, I agree with the call.
Yeah, but
the rule is,
I'll tell you. Go ahead, Zach.
The rule is you have to make an effort to go to second, right?
Yeah, if you make any effort towards second base.
Okay, so just that little turn of the hips, basically, and you're out. If you
you could see he's looking at where the ball is, and for a split second he thought to himself, maybe I should go to second. Then he goes, no, I better not. But then it's too late.
Yeah, and I think in this video, the first base coach sends him, and he tries to kind of break up it seems like he feels really bad about trying to send him, because Yelich stops himself, and the first base coach sends him. So I think it's really the first base coach's fault.
Yeah, probably. But to Andrew's point, this has been always an issue. There's always been, since I've been watching, a couple of umpires in the league who are just too much about them and they're part of the show. And it's always an issue forever that you're going to get a few umpires. You know, it's only going to be a couple, 3, or even certain umpires maybe get lost in the moment. But I agree with you. The umpires should have control and not become part of the story. There's no doubt. But of course, as we discussed last week, their job is becoming much more painful with instant replay. I mean, it's a shame.
To that point, you had asked me last week the percentage of calls overturned in replay. So I have some data. So in 2020, it was 44.7% of calls that went to replay were overturned. So under half by a good amount. And honestly, that surprised me. I feel like it should be well over 50% if you just think about it. You know, like the umpire is making this split second call on only what he's seen. And then immediately it goes to the replay guy. Each team has at least one guy who's looking at all the angles really quick. And then he's telling the team whether they should challenge or not. And you would think the guy who has multiple angles of it should be right more than the guy who is just making a really quick call from one angle in real time, and that's it. So I don't know if 44% is high enough if we're getting some artificial.
Do you have any statistics from previous seasons?
Yes. So I have the last, I want to say this is 7 years. So this is starting in the furthest year and going to now. It was 47, 48, 50, 48, 46, 44, 44. So I know it's about that
consistent.
It's pretty consistent. It was getting right around 50%, and then it took another dive down. That could just be a coincidence, or it could be umpires realizing, you know, they're getting more calls right than we are. We need to get that number down. I don't know if that's the case or not.
It's 2021. Do you have 2021 numbers?
I don't have 2021. Those aren't up yet.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see. But I mean, there's a few things there. I mean, like you said, the team has a certain amount of time where they have to review the call, whoever's reviewing the call for the team upstairs, call down to the dugout, say, yeah, you better want to look at this. And then, of course, there's also those appeal plays where, I don't know what the rule is now, but used to be you had 1 or 2 appeals available to you. And now it's the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, ground ball, close play at first. And the manager goes like, oh, screw it. I still have an appeal left. I'll do it. And I've seen some of those. And it's so painful because you know the guy is out or he's safe, whatever it is. But the opposing manager's like, well, screw it. I got nothing to lose. I have an appeal here at the end. I might as well use it up. So I am surprised 45 to 50% does seem lower than I would have expected to be. But so many of these plays are bang, bang, as we all know. And even on the replay, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, it's a shit job right now because you can't win. If you get it right, so what? If you get it wrong, the whole world knows about it. So
yeah,
you're definitely not getting any accolades unless it's the Bill Clem Award.
I don't know.
That's why the Bill Clem Award is so important because that's all these umps are umping for nowadays: a paycheck and the Bill Clem Award.
And those balls and strikes are the only thing they can't be called out on anymore.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know. So all right, what's next, boys?
All right. So it's the old school, new school quiz. Are you guys ready?
Oh boy. All right. Well, I got to type this in.
You can text it to me. That would be perfect.
All right, I'm on Discord. I'm gonna type it in.
Are you gonna just type it to me though? Are you just gonna be to Andrew as well?
That's right. I won't look.
All right, Andrew. Don't you dare cheat.
Right. No, I think I'm going straight to you, Zach. Go ahead. Ready. I'm ready.
All right, guys. This week I have some great questions for you. 1953. We're starting with an old school. 1953 World Series loser. This might be a question I asked last week. I don't remember. I don't keep track. That's just who I am.
I sent you my answer. Did you get it?
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
All right.
Andrew says Dodgers. Jack says Dodgers as well, and that is the correct answer. You both.
All those World Series from 49 to 56 were all Dodgers. Almost all were Dodgers Yankees.
Andrew, did you know that?
No, I'm writing that down right now.
Have you been reading up?
49. I mean, it's all. There were 1 or 2 exceptions, but Dodgers Yankees. I think there was only one exception from 49 to 56. It's all. Now 54 was Cleveland. Anyway, go ahead.
It's impressive. knowledge there. Thank you.
I got it right.
Yeah, you both
19
got it right. So
1950 were.
Andrew's winning 1-0
Why?
because you get 0 for getting your own era
Oh,
correct.
please.
Well, Andrew gets
All right,
0
go
for
ahead.
getting his own era correct. It's a
All
very
right, all
fair
right.
system
All
we
right.
have here. Don't you worry.
All right, go ahead.
2015 World Series winner.
Who?
2015 World Series winner.
Oh, I even know this.
This was your guys' gimme of the week.
Yeah, it's a gimme. I know I couldn't tell you 2016. I could tell you 2015.
You couldn't tell me 2016. You better
Take a guess.
take that back right now. That
Oh,
is
okay. I couldn't tell you 2017.
that is offensive. Only the most historic World Series win
Yeah,
in the past.
yeah. Well, it's only historic for one reason.
Yeah, because they sucked. All right.
Yeah, because they sucked for 180 years.
1911 city where the World Series was won. So the city of the last game of the World Series in 1911. This is a weird one, but not that weird. It's really not. Both of you in quickly with determination. Andrew says Chicago. Jack says Philly. Answer is Philly.
Philadelphia
No-
A's. I forget who they won, beat, but Philadelphia A's, I believe, won the
Oh,
1911
you
World
forgot who
Series.
they beat? I should have asked who lost the
Um,
1911 World Series.
I'll just throw out
It
New York
is
Giants. The
it is
Giants.
that is correct, New York Giants.
Okay.
And the only reason I know that is because I have to look up these questions.
Philadelphia
2019.
A's.
What?
Oh,
Go
ahead.
go for it. Go for it. Let's hear the
I know.
stat. I want to hear the stat.
No.
This is why people listen to Loogie for these Jack stats.
Philadelphia A's, Connie Mack, home run Baker, the $100,000 infield. You know, everybody knows that
$100,000
shit.
for one infield?
Believe it or
Wow.
not.
Wow, that's
They were known as the
impressive.
$100,000 infield. Stuffy McGinnis, home run Baker, and I forget the other two guys. But go
And that
ahead.
was supposed to be a big number, huh?
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah, it puts
wow.
the Padres $1 billion infield to shame.
If you Google $100,000 infield, I'm sure it'll come up. Anyway,
Man. Low prices. 2019 city where the World Series was won. Where was the last game of the 2019 World Series? Both of you, quick again. Andrew says Tampa. Jack says Boston. You guys are both incorrect.
it was LA.
It's Houston.
What?
2019, Houston lost to the Washington Nationals.
I was thinking of the 2021. I don't know why.
That's negative
who won,
one
who
for
won
Andrew
last
there.
year? Who won last year?
The
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Oh, shit.
You didn't know that?
I was still in rehab.
I could have asked you that one.
Still
We
in
shouldn't
rehab.
have told him the answer. All right. 1961 batting average leader in the NL.
Come on, man.
What is it, too easy for you?
No, it's not. I can tell you a lot of things about 1961, except that. Okay.
Well, that's good then. It's supposed to be difficult for you. I want Andrew to win. Okay.
61, the
That's-
Giants won the pennant.
Jack's answer is in.
So I'm just going to pick a Giant.
Andrew's answer not in yet. He could use this Giants information. Let's see if he takes advantage here.
I should have, but I didn't.
He goes Hank Aaron. You guys are both incorrect. Jack went Willie Mays. Andrew went Hank Aaron. The answer was Roberto Clemente of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
You know, that reminds me of my favorite baseball card. It's
Yeah?
a 67 tops,
Oh, I've seen this.
and it's a 66 National League batting leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And the three batting leaders, the top three batters are pictured on the card. And it's Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Roberto Clemente. And
That
it's
is
that
a
card I
bad
have
card.
probably, I would say if I sent it off for a grading, it'd probably be like an 8 or a 9. It's near mint. And I wouldn't sell it. It's just an awesome card to have those three guys the outfield of the '60s in the National League. Anyway, anyway, all right. What's next?
Can you guys guess?
What the next? Can I guess what the next question is? No.
2018 NL batting leader.
That's exactly what the question is.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's always
Of
batting
all the-
average. It's always the same category in a different year. So he just guessed 2018. He's exactly correct.
National League batting leader.
Yeah, National League batting average. It's tied 0-0 right now. So you guys are in a deadlock. This is a very, very important final answer here from Andrew.
Okay, well, I gave my answer, but I might change it. Hold on, let me think for a second. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, somebody beat out Daniel Murphy? No, that's a different year. All right, I don't know.
So, Dad said, one of the greatest Washington Senators of all time, Juan Soto.
Yeah.
All right.
And Andrew said MVP Christian Yelich, which is correct. So we're going to an overtime round.
All right, I'm ready.
Overtime. So the overtime question for the oldsters is going to be 1924
Mm-hmm.
City of the World Series loser. Who lost the World Series in 1924, and what city were they from?
Well, I know who won.
I didn't ask for that.
All right. The Senators won in 24.
And who lost?
This is my gut feeling.
Okay, give me your gut.
I gave it to you.
Oh!
Yeah?
Jack says Pittsburgh. Ruby says Cincinnati. The answer was New York
The
City.
Giants.
New York Giants lost to the
Oh.
Washington Senators.
Well, that was
So-
Walter Johnson's. Walter Johnson finally won a World Series with the Senators after he was an old man by the time, but he had such an unbelievable career with a really shitty team. And that was 24 World Series. Same is famous for Walter Johnson actually winning the World Series. So I thought it was Pittsburgh, but it was the Giants. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the new school. Dad's got -1 now. Andrew's
Albert
in the lead with
Pujols
0.
is my answer.
All he's got to do is get
Albert
the question right.
Pujols is my answer.
Dad, what did I tell you? What was the question? What's the question format always been for this? This is the
I
fourth
don't know.
week.
Just go ahead and give me
Same
the question.
question, different year.
All right,
The
go ahead.
city of the 2014 World Series loser.
Oh man, I'm
There's
still in
no,
rehab.
there's no way you're getting this one right, Dad. I'm just letting you know right now.
You're probably right. I'm not going to get this one correct.
Andrew's answer is in. Minnesota?
Well, I don't know.
They had to be in last place that year. And that's also a state, not a city.
Okay, Minneapolis.
All right. Minneapolis is correct.
What?
No, I'm just joking. Kansas City was the answer, and Andrew got it right, so he's this week's winner. It is now 2-1. Andrew over Jack.
All right.
That is not going to last.
Yes, it will. I'll never get any of these right. When I was in rehab, I don't know any of the answers. But that's
Well,
okay.
Well, I'm going to run out of New Year's eventually, so I'm going to have to keep going further and further back, pushing into Jack territory.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
That will help.
2014 was even. I only knew that because the Mets played the Royals the year after, but any year 2014 or earlier, I got nothing.
Honestly,
The
I had to look
Royals,
it up.
the
'cause I didn't
Royals
know.
were in its World Series in 2014 also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lost to the Giants, I believe.
You're
Yep.
shitting me. How did they make the World Series twice? That's amazing.
Yeah,
What is
All-
your best friend John always say? He always says small market
Oh,
teams
yeah.
can't win.
He's an asshole.
Kansas City made it 2 years in a row. They're kind of small market, right?
The Pirates made the World Series, made the playoffs 3 years in a row here recently. Granted, it was
Yeah.
a wild card game every year, but still, they made the playoffs 3 years in a row when McCutcheon was there.
Yeah, the Cubs beat him in 2015. 2015, yeah. And that's when
Mhm.
that dude beat up that water cooler. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Or was that a regular season game? I think that was the playoffs. All right. Should we go to the question vault this week?
Sure.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. All right, here's a question for you, Jack. How old is too old to wear a glove to a game? We have kind of a story about this one.
I have a story too, and it's really a beautiful story for me. Well, Zach, you were with me.
That's what I just said. I said we have a story for this one.
Oh yes, you and I. Yes, I mean I'll never forget it. Zach and I were sitting in the bleachers at Wrigley, and that was 20. Well, I don't know what was it, Zach.
2017?
But there was a
That was the
gentleman
first time we
sitting.
went.
Yeah, there's a gentleman sitting to our right. He had to be 65 years old,
Mhm.
and he was with his what I believe was his son,
Yeah.
who was about 35 years old. And the 65-year-old gentleman had his glove with him, sitting next to him on the bleacher seat, and his name was on his glove,
Yeah, it was written on
which
a
means
finger.
with a pen. He wrote his name in a pen, which means this glove had to be at least 30 years old. It was a glove he used for who knows how long. But the gentleman only put his glove on, and he did it very discreetly. He just slid his hand into his glove only when Chris Bryant came to the plate. It was a beautiful thing to witness. And when Chris Bryant's at bat was over, he slipped his hand out of the glove. So,
In
how
disappointment.
old? How old? How old? You can never be too old to bring a glove to a game. Never.
Good times.
But anyway, that's my story. The gentleman, this older gentleman, had his glove, and I just thought that was a beautiful thing.
Yep. It was pretty awesome.
So
What
that's
do you
my
think?
answer.
What do you think, Andrew? I agree. I think that you can never be too old to have a glove at a
No.
game. But if you're gonna be a dick, like that guy was really sweet. That guy was
Yep.
very subtle, like you said. He was just slipping
Yep.
it on and off. He wasn't gonna. I couldn't picture him jumping over a child to get a ball.
No.
If you're doing that, then you don't deserve to bring a glove to a game. But if you're this guy and you're playing it chill, and if it gets hit to you, it'll be the best day of your old life. And that is
Yep.
perfect, and it's beautiful, and that's why we love baseball. But if you're a
Yeah.
dick, then don't bring your glove.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I was gonna say I didn't really have a number, but I was gonna give some number. But after hearing that, I'm on board. If like exactly like you're saying, if you're gonna be respectful about it and not steal from some kid or whatever, you're
Yeah.
sitting in your seat and it gets hit to you, you're catching it. I'm all for it.
I mean, he's sitting there with his son, and he's got a glove with his name written in pen. And I think it was just his first initial, like F. Dot Smith or whatever it was.
Schmitty Bob.
And then you start thinking about, well, how long has this guy been coming to the bleachers and sitting out here in left field to catch balls? Because when you watch games from Wrigley in the 70s and 80s, there's hardly anyone sitting out there. Of course, it was like $2 to sit out there. There
Mhm.
wasn't all like there is now, all the food concessions and the grandstands, and I mean it's all totally big, upscale, fancy out there now, which is fine. That's the way it has to be today. But this guy may have been coming there since the 80s, paying $2 just to sit out there and watch a game on a Tuesday afternoon. It was a beautiful thing.
Mhm. Maybe there's like a gap in between, like 0 years old to 16 years old. You can bring one, and then 60 and up, you can bring one, and anywhere in between. But you know what? I think we should just say all ages is fine.
Yep. Bring your glove.
I wonder if anybody else besides Chris Bryant hit the ball to him, if he would have stuck it on really quick, or if he would have just smacked it out of the air.
No, I don't think so. I think he just would have ducked.
He'd have been like, no, not that one.
No,
Only
no,
here for Chris.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. Andrew, do you have any diamonds in the rough for us this week?
Yeah, I got a quick one. Seeing as it's All-Star weekend, I thought I'd talk about one of the lesser known All-Stars, Cedric Mullins. I don't know if either of you know anything about Cedric Mullins.
Knows he's on the Orioles. Is
Yeah,
that right?
so yep. Which honestly is kind of a shame because it is his first productive year, but if Otani didn't exist or wasn't going insane, Mullins would realistically be an MVP candidate because he's just having an absurd year that no one's really talking about. And I had heard this story kind of early in the year, but it seems like no one really knows about it. But basically, Cedric Mullins, throughout his whole career, was a switch hitter. He had a brief stint in the majors in 2019. Was when he first came up, didn't play too many games, struggled, hit. Oh, this is actually my mistake. He started in 2018. He hit 235. 2019, he hit 094. He really struggled. 2020, 271. And then this year he's hitting 314. He's got 16 home runs, and he's just been very impressive. But what I noticed and what I heard and the change that he made is he was a switch hitter throughout his entire career, but he really struggled against lefties as a righty. So in 2019, it was just a bad year all around, but he hit 102 as a lefty against righties, and he hit 067 as a righty against lefties. And then in 2020, he hit 305 as a lefty, but he only hit 171 batting as a righty. So this year they decided he's no longer a switch hitter. He's only going to bat lefty. And he's hitting 298 against lefties and 321 against righties. So I guess they just noticed, and if you look at the stats, it is pretty obvious that when he was batting right-handed, he just couldn't hit. And if you look at the numbers, like he's hitting 298 against lefties. So it's not that he couldn't hit lefties. He just couldn't bat as a righty. And yeah, he's having a great year. Should be an MVP candidate. Obviously won't win if Otani does anything like he's been doing.
Yeah, he's got 16 stolen bases too, which I appreciate. JT Snow for the Giants is someone who's done that as well, but there have been very few who have done that. And Wally Joyner too, I think, is one maybe. But anyway, be interesting to see this guy. Now, where does he bat in their lineup? Do you know?
He's been leading off. I think he is still their leadoff hitter.
Okay.
He leads the AL
16 stolen bases. Yeah. Yep. All right. Good player. I love center fielders who can field, hit, and steal bases. Those are my favorite players of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it all except for the arm. So you'd call him the four-tool player. His arm isn't great, but other than that, great fielder. He's clearly got some power.
Might be my first pick in Stratomatic if we ever play.
I tell you, you can learn a lot about a baseball player just from a Stratomatic card. It's incredible. But anyway.
All right, Jack, we're going to test your knowledge again.
Oh, boy.
Now, do you have a do you want me to ask you what was every stat on somebody's Stratomatic card? Because you seem to be very well versed in that.
Well, only certain years that I was playing Stratomatic, I knew certain guys.
All right, I'm going to rattle off a couple questions here. You ready?
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right. We'll stick with 1961. You said you knew a lot about 1961.
Well, maybe.
We'll go 1961 AL MVP.
Well, I hope it was Roger Maris. He had 61 home runs. But they probably gave it to Mickey Mantle. I'm going to say Mickey Mantle.
It was Roger Maris.
I should have gave it to Roger Maris. That was a good move.
So your 1-year-old self was very pleased with that decision. Then that's
Mickey
good.
Mantle was probably second in the voting.
All right, let's stick with. We'll just have a 61 fire sale.
Man.
1961 NL MVP.
Frank Robinson.
Correct.
He was the first player, I think, the first player to win MVP in both leagues, because when he got traded to the Orioles, in the 65 offseason. He won the Triple Crown in 66, leading the Orioles to the pennant in 66.
What a man.
Yeah, he's the first player to win the MVP in both leagues, to the best of my recollection.
Is he the best Frank baseball player ever?
Oh, yeah, Frank Robinson. Yeah, he could do it all.
Frank Thomas got nothing on him.
No. Frank Robinson is the man.
All right, how about 1961 NL RBI leader?
Ted Glazut. No.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Willie McCovey.
I've never heard of this guy, but his name is Jim Gentile.
Oh, yeah. He had a very brief moment of glory. He was not a consistently good player.
Steroids. How about 1961 AL RBI leader?
Mickey Mantle.
What? Who hit the most home runs? Come on.
Roger Maris.
Yeah, baby. Roger Maris. How about, you know anything about stolen bases?
I know the definition of a stolen
1961 stolen base leader in the NL.
Well, Maury Wills stole 104 bases in 1962, but I don't think he won in 1961. It was probably, was it Omar Vizquel? No, wait a minute. No, it has a different guy. What league?
NL. How many bases did you say he stole in 62?
104. Maury Wills did.
It says Maury Wills stole 35 bases in 61 for the number one rank.
He did that in 62, I thought.
Well, it says he stole 35 bases.
So who was in 1961? Is it Maury Wills?
Yeah, Maury Wills.
Oh, okay. With 35?
How many stolen bases did you say he had in 62? 126?
104.
104?
He set the record. Yeah.
It says he only had 34 in 61.
Okay, he had 30. He had 104 in 62. Just telling you. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, but like, let me look up 62 now. I have to look at 62.
Why? It's Maury Wills. 104.
Well, because the numbers were staggeringly different. So I want to see what the top 25 was. Do you know who the next person was on that list?
After 104?
Yeah.
No, somebody with 30? I don't know.
32. Wait,
Yeah.
what? So he just
Yeah.
decided I'm going to steal 104 bases this year?
Well, I tell you, I'm looking at his numbers now just because I'm the only. I mean, there wasn't a big difference in terms of hits. Okay, he went from 173 hits to 208 hits, so that's an improvement. He walked less, 8 times less. So, if you just forgetting about getting on base via error, it's only a 23 improvement in terms of times at first base, but it's a 70 stolen base improvement.
And do you see these caught stealing numbers?
117 attempts, 104 successful,
He
which
got
is really
thrown out-
interesting. Yeah.
He got thrown out more times in 61 when he only stole 35 than in 62 when he stole 104.
And also in 63, he got thrown out more times than when he stole 40 in 1963.
And guess how many? Wait. Yeah, he only had 40 in 1963. So he went back down to earth.
Yeah.
And then 94 in 65.
Yeah.
He had 65 and 90. Wait, what?
He had 94 stolen bases in 65. So he's all over the place.
So he was systematically doing cocaine then or something. What drug is he using to get that kind of freaking...
I think he actually did do drugs, but despite that, no, I mean, I think, well, one thing that's interesting is that it was the same manager too. I mean, Walter Alston was the manager of the team in all those years in the 60s.
It's weird. Did the third base coach change or something?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question, though. I'd love to hear what Maury Wills has to say about that. Why in 62 did he steal 70 more bases? What the hell happened? and then steal 60 less the next year. You figure
Singles.
once you steal 100, you just keep stealing 100, or at least, close to 100. Anyway,
Most stolen bases in a year. Do you know who the number one most stolen bases in a year guy is?
yeah, Ricky Henderson stole 130.
Do you know about this guy from 1887?
Billy Sunday,
Hugh Nickel.
Hugh Nickel.
Yeah, stole 139 bases in 1887 for the Cincinnati somethings. Was it still the
Well,
Reds?
1887. Oh my gosh, he only batted 215. How is that possible? He only had 102 hits. He had 102 hits, and he stole
Well, he stole
138
138
bases.
bases.
86
See,
walks. That's what
Every
did it.
every time you get on, you can steal 3 bases though. So, wonder how many times he stole second and third.
Or if he stole first and then second and then
Oh yeah,
third.
he could have stole first too. That's true.
Yeah, I mean he right.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've proven your knowledge pretty well there. You're a pretty smart guy. So let's push on to the Joe West Award for Best Worst Umpire of the Week. Who do we got this week, Andrew?
Yeah, so for the Joe West Award, I was debating whether we should even keep doing this. Like, it's just, I'm reading out a bunch of numbers. There's really no way to say, like, what's so good, what's so bad. But then the baseball gods sent me a message and gifted us with the worst umpiring performance, easily the worst of the year, and one of the worst in a very long time. I'm going to send right now the chart, and then I have a quick video that you guys can watch too of this game. It was horrible. So the umpire was Brian Onora. He had 87% accuracy, 93% consistency, but he got 23 wrong calls. And he also had 9 of the 10 worst calls this year in this one game. I just posted, it's a Twitter link. It has a video of all the worst calls. And there's some doozies in there.
All right, we'll take a quick pause and I'm going to take a look at these. Wow. This guy wants to go home so bad. Wow, the last pitch of the game.
Oh.
So it starts in the second. He was terrible all game. This video starts in the second. It goes to the first inning, 8th inning. So he makes terrible calls all game. 5th inning. They're all 6, 7, 8 inches off the plate.
How long has that guy been an ump, I wonder? Because that's the kind of thing to get you not invited back.
And he's so quick with them too. He's not taking a second to think about it. He's just like, strike.
Yeah.
Strike.
Well, actually, go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I was to your question. It says he joined Major League staff in 2000. So at least 21 years. But it says his debut was 92. So he's been doing it for a while.
I mean, this goes back to a thought I've had, and it was actually on my list of things to discuss at some point. But this points to what this year it looks to me like all umpires have expanded their strike zones. In all honesty, I'm seeing lots of balls just off the plate, not as bad as what we see here in this video from Onora, but it just feels like a lot of borderline calls are going against the batter this year. And this could go hand in hand with Alonso's theory about the ball being deadened, as a lot of big time hitters are coming onto their free agent years. I don't want to do conspiracy theory, but I think the umpires looks like they have expanded their strike zone from what I saw the last couple of years. But anyway, that's just what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. But this Onora, that'll get you fired, man. It should get you fired anyway.
7 of these calls were against the Reds, 2 against the Brewers. So it was pretty lopsided even too in the way he was making these bad calls. So yeah, that's pretty terrible. I think he's definitely deserves his award. Congratulations,
Indeed.
our Joe West's winner of the week. Let's move on to a brighter note. Let's get to the point where, all the umps have been waiting for this award tonight. Let's get to the Bill Clem Award.
Bill Clem Award's a pretty good one. Vic Carapazza, he had 97.9% accuracy, 98.5% consistency, 4 wrong calls. So compare that to Honora's 23. Pretty good. 1 bad call, a few, well, a little bit worse than borderline, but not too bad. But
Not too bad.
when you're comparing it to that last one, it's the greatest game ever.
That's a beauty. Congratulations, Mr. Vic Carapazza. You're good at your job, and you should keep it for a while. Good job.
Maybe you'll get a raise.
Yeah. And your Applebee's gift card will be in the mail shortly.
Yep.
All right, let's get to this week's role player draft. Hopefully I won this week. I have no clue. This is the first week where I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I wanted to surprise myself coming in. See how I did.
No, you didn't win.
Shut up. All right. Andrew, home run hitter. What'd your boy Shohei have this week?
Shohei this week hit 2 home runs.
Okay, all right. Good week for him. Jack, do you know what your boy did? Who do you have?
I don't know any of my boys did.
Okay, that's good.
I got him. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit 1.
Is
He
this
sucks.
Is this updated? Do I have this updated?
Probably not. I have all the stats if
Did
you want me
Vladdy
to
hit
just read
2?
them. No, he hit 0.
Oh,
He
great.
sucks.
Okay, so you said Shohei hit 2,
Yep. Fernando hit 1.
Fernando hit 1, and my
Vladdy
guy
hit
hit
0.
0. Okay. I'm not doing shots this week because last week I woke up with a terrible hangover and went to class. So we're going to go to base stealers. Ronald Acuna, how'd he do?
Pre-torn ACL, Ronald Acuna stole 1 base.
Hey, there you go. At least he got you something before he ended his career. All right, Whit Merrifield, how'd he do?
1 as well.
As well. Trey Turner?
A big 1.
Oh, yes. Way to tie it up, baby. All right, so everybody's happy with that.
No.
Here we go into the second, into the serial walker category. How many walks did Max Muncy have this week?
Monkey, the bust of the week with 0 walks. I don't even know how that's possible.
That's disgraceful. 6 last week. All right, Mookie, how'd he do?
4.
I'm assuming that won it the way you said it. How many did Yandy Diaz have?
2.
Oh, Yandy!
Who do I have?
You have Mookie Betts. You won.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
All right, so it's 1-1 Andrew and Jack. Again, I'm left out of the horse race. All right.
But I'm winning an overall total number.
Oh, my gosh. Javi Baez. Javi Baez, how did he do in strikeouts this week?
Again, don't know how it's possible. He only struck out 3 times.
Come on, Javi. All right, Joey, how did he do?
1. He was
Ooh.
prepping for the home run derby. All he was hitting was homers.
And Randy?
4.
Yes, Randy ties it up for me. Let's go, Randy. I knew either Randy or Yandy would win it for me this week. All
Randy who?
Randy Arozarena.
Oh,
yeah. Devil Rays. All right.
Yeah.
Strikeout pitcher, Carlos Rodon, the new pickup. How'd he do?
He didn't pitch. He pulled a Bieber, so he got 0.
All right. Zach Wheeler, how'd he do? All he had to do was pitch 1.
My boy.
6 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And DeGrom had 0.
Yeah, on a technicality, DeGrom got 0.
So
you got to predict that though, boys. You can't. You got to read the injuries.
No, I mean I'm just picking him up for future.
We'll see.
games.
We'll see how that goes.
He's just a great player, and you're gonna regret.
Yeah, I won. That's all that matters.
You're gonna regret having Zach Wheeler later down the road. All right, Johnny
Next.
Walker. Who walked the most this week out of the pitchers? Nick Pivetta, how'd he do?
I don't even want to read these next two categories. Nick Pivetta, 2.
2. John Gant,
3.
He stuck.
3.
My
And
boy.
Zach Davies.
2.
Ah!
Yeah. Another victory.
All right, let's move on to the
Boys, you gotta know
anti-DeGrom.
how to read the numbers. Come on.
Brad Keller, how did he do with the earned runs allowed?
Perhaps the saddest category of all. Brad Keller, 1 earned run, turned into an ace.
Oh wow. Nick Fulte, Mike Fulte, how'd he do?
Oh my
3.
boy. Yeah.
3. And Dylan Bundy?
Did not pitch.
That's a wipeout.
All right, so we've got Jack winning 1, 2, 3, 4 categories this week. Me and Andrew winning 1.
Oh, what a frustrating week.
Jack, you're the 2-time winner of the role player draft. Congratulations.
2.5, really.
Congratulations.
BS
No.
week. There were only 4 days.
That's true. It wasn't a real week. So
And
you
gotta
actually
read look. You gotta check out the rotations. You gotta look at injured lists. You gotta know
Is that
what's
what
going
you
on.
did? Is that what you did when you've never drafted a new player since the start of this thing? Get real. Get
You
real.
gotta know what you're doing.
You got to get real is what you got to do.
What's next? I want to roll here.
Man, if any of the luck inside your genes is passed on to me, it'd be really nice if it started working overtime for me here.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
All right. Let's move on. Music of the week, last category. Did you guys listen to MF Doom's album?
I did.
Mad Villainy?
No, I did not.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew you wouldn't.
Oh, I wanted to, but I looked him up and I couldn't find him.
He's on. Oh my gosh. It's on Spotify. You don't have Spotify, do you?
Anyway, you guys go ahead. Talk.
All right, Andrew. What'd you think?
So
Favorite songs? Anything?
luckily I listened to it twice because on my first run through of it, I wasn't really a fan. Like nothing really stuck out to me. It kind of felt like I don't know. I think I need a hook or a chorus or something, or else songs just don't really stand out to me. And it kind of just it's like someone just rapping at you for an hour. Like same reason I don't really listen to like Eminem, people like that. Like they're almost too good at rapping to where every song is just start to end. They're rapping the entire time. And I just kind of get lost in it. But I gave it a second listen through today, and I definitely liked it a lot more. My 3 songs that stuck out to me, America's Most Blunted, I really liked. I thought that song was hilarious.
It's a good one.
And then Raid and Rainbows were my other 2 favorites.
Okay.
So yeah, I did end up liking it.
All right. I like the theme of the album. The album's theme is basically just like a old school cartoon villain, and they have a lot of samples of just like a guy, like a narrator talking through a TV show about villains, and it's all cut with different instrumentals and stuff. It's really interesting, but you're right. It is a lot of just rapping in. It's basically he wrote poems and bars and he just reads them out, and they're just a lot. It's a lot to take in very quickly, and you don't get really a lot of time to process like the cleverness of a lot of it. So it does need a second listen. My favorite songs are All Caps. All Caps is my favorite song on this album. I like Accordion, I like Figaro, and I also like America's Most Blunted because it is a hilarious song. And I gave this album 4 enjoyment levels because it's, again, it's how I enjoy the albums. It's not my favorite album. I don't listen to it on the daily. I'm giving it a 7.5, just under Moving Pictures, but I very much do like this album.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all those points too. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay. Jack, it's your turn to pick this week.
What?
The album that we listen to talk about next time.
Oh, shit.
It can be something that you've never heard. It can be something that changed the way that you listen to
Okay,
music.
I'm going to give you guys what it was truly a groundbreaking record. Because there's so many bands since this record came out in 1979 that go back to this band as just starting a whole new. Anyway, the name of the record is The Specials,
Mm-hmm.
and it's their debut album, The Specials. It's a 5-star album on allmusic.com, and it was extremely influential. It's British ska, which was a marriage of Jamaican ska and British punk, post-punk sounds, become this new English ska style, which has been copied and recopied. I mean, you got Sublime, No Doubt, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. There's a tons of bands of the 90s that did this thing. But it all, to me, that album, now there were a few other bands doing British ska at the time, the Selector, English Beat, Madness.
Mm-hmm.
But the Specials debut album, The Specials, which was produced by Elvis Costello, I might add, really was the seminal, the ground zero of this whole ska revival. And I think this is an album worth listening to, worth knowing about, because even today there are still bands that are playing a style called rocksteady, which is a ska derivative, that are still out there playing and touring, like the Agrolites, like the who's the other band? The Slackers. This stuff is still going on, and all these bands will tell you the Specials debut album is what started all this. That still goes on today. So that is my album to recommend to you boys this week. The Specials.
All right, very good. Excited to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I've always wanted to listen to ska, and I never have. So I'm gonna be diving into this one.
Yeah, like I said, this will be ground zero for an explosion that still goes on today, in this style.
Have I heard any of these songs? Because I've
Actually,
heard most of your music.
probably not. Probably not.
So
Yeah.
they're not on any happy hours. They're not some of your favorite
No.
songs, but they are influential to some of your favorite songs.
There's my favorite songs, but there's music that I thought that when my children were younger wouldn't really like it very much, so they didn't get to hear it very much.
Oh, does it have curse words? Is that why?
No. Well, no.
There's
Maybe
a song
one or
on.
two.
There's a song on it called "Little Bitch."
That is correct.
Can't believe that didn't make it into my 5-year-old ears.
Yeah, I can't believe it. But anyway, yeah, that's a record that everyone should know about. Don't have to
All
like
right.
it, but you should know about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for
All right.
the exposure. And thanks for
Yeah.
joining us for episode 4 of Loogy. Hope you all enjoyed. Join us next Thursday for episode 5.